The recent OnePlus glow up over the past couple of years, I think really seriously needs to be studied, and the OnePlus 13 is definitely the pinnacle of this in action, but is it the best Android phone out there right now? Well, I have to say, it really could be. Before then though, if you love Android like we do, then stick around by hitting subscribe to be part of our growing team of Android lovers. It's completely free, and we'd love to have you as part of the team, so come join us. Cheers. So the OnePlus 13 was released really in the early stages of 2025, and I have to say, since I've had this device, it's felt criminal to hide that midnight blue device away in a case, because I have to say the hardware is simply gorgeous, especially with that vegan leather, aka pleather back finish. It's incredible to hold in your hand. I'm a hypocrite though, so I've had this in a case 90% of the time. However, that hits at a deeper problem. I think we don't have a big enough pool of high quality accessories outside of first-party options to choose from OnePlus phones. I did manage to go ahead and pick up a super cheap $5 case from China. I bought that on eBay, and this colour matches the blue finish. And while it does lack that magnetic insert to use some of the accessories that come with this device, it is my favourite accessory by some margin. It doesn't detract too much, I don't think. I will say the increased quality of components used on this phone is immediately obvious when you start using the OnePlus 13. That said though, Samsung still has the best quality title, at least all sewn up on Android, but OnePlus and by extension Oppo are really not that far behind now. I just wish the screen was truly flat at the front after using this for an extended period. Yes, the playable or pliable area of this panel is completely flat, the edges though, not so much. Granted, the very minor curves of this panel and the phone itself do help with comfort. I think something akin to the Pixel 8 Pro, at least the shape of that device, would have been my actual preference, but it's a nitpick on what is an otherwise stellar piece of technology. Sure, it isn't the most inspired design, but it's reliable. I wouldn't say I've babied the phone either, and I think it's held up really well. Although that said, I haven't actually put that IP69 rating to the test in the entire time I've used this device. In fact, I haven't even put this phone near moisture, so it is a nice bonus to have. It will withstand a lot of use and abuse, and I have to say I've used and abused this a lot more than I have previous OnePlus phones. I will say the display ties all of this craftsmanship and all of these benefits together. It's a very much in the upper echelons of smartphone displays. It's beautifully tuned, it's incredibly bright, it's smooth, and most importantly easy to use now that it has less curves on the sides. It might not be the best outright in terms of the brightest and the most punchy, but I haven't had a single issue with this screen. I love coming back to it when I switch my SIM back into it, and while I don't watch too many videos or movies on my phone, the experience is among the best in the industry. I'm not particularly sad that the alert slider is going away, I have to say, but as someone who sets their phone to silent and never really changes that setting, I'm probably not the best person to ask. It is a shame though to lose a popular hardware toggle, and while this is probably a swan song for it, I know I'm going to be sad for the people who will miss it. If it means we get more utility on the OnePlus 14 with the dedicated button, I have to say, you're going to have to count me in. When I come back to this phone, the thing that strikes me straight away when using it is just how good the haptics are. Dare I say it, I think the best in the industry. And the fact that you can still tune these and leave them feeling amazing is yet another awesome aspect of the software stack. I'll get more into that in a minute. I think from the initial unlock to every single vibration on this device, it's crisp and precise. I do wish the speakers though in tandem with that had a little more oomph with regard to the overall bass response, stopping to have them having a little bit of a tinny sound. Overall though, I love most, if not all, of the hardware choices on the OnePlus 13, and that's something that I can't always say with phones, having used them for an extended period of time. And I have used this as a secondary device. I've swapped between this and the Galaxy S25 Ultra quite a lot, as it's really hard to choose which one I love the most. I will say we've been spoiled with the big, bold Android updates from OEMs this year, especially with regard to Android 15, and to put it simply, OnePlus OxygenOS's 15, that is very good. Those animation speed improvements aren't something I actually expected to care about, but the extra attention to detail does improve the feeling of fluidity on this phone, and it has only improved with the updates since launch. You can disable it entirely if you wish, you can disable this full animation stack, but I think that's another bonus for people who want to customize their phone. The level of tweaking you can make to what are technically the default settings is something that really does help tune this version of Android 15 to properly suit your wants and whims, and that's something that a lot of other OEMs could learn from. I do feel though that the now bar on One UI is better for quick utility than that dynamic island or dynamic island copy that they've had added here in OxygenOS 15. Maybe if we get more third-party applications to fully support the function, which I'm actually doubting that will ever happen. I think it'll be a lot more useful to most people. It does feel like a solution to a non-existent problem in Android, and I can't say I've really used it in the last few months particularly. we already have some fairly solid widgets on Android, and I prefer to use those anyway. My only gripe with this phone and with regard to OxygenOS is that the updates are still not all that fast. They tend to be every 1.5 to 2 months, and you can often be waiting a while for the latest Android security patch to arrive on your phone, which is a bit disappointing considering this is OnePlus's top tier phone for the year. The quality control of specific updates also needs a little bit of extra attention. Not all updates have had problems, but the most recent OxygenOS OTA has done some really funky things to my Wi-Fi stability. Often notifications will just stop coming in until I toggle Wi-Fi on and off again, which is a bit disappointing as I don't tend to have these kind of problems with other versions of Android. And because Android 16 is going to be a small update, I do find it interesting to see how OxygenOS 16 will build upon this really solid foundation over the coming months. We have beta phases available, but I haven't tested them. The only disappointment for me is that the OnePlus 13 is only slated to get 4 OS upgrades, so that will account for one of those. I think it's a really bitter pill to swallow when things are this good right now, and especially as I want to see OnePlus continue to build upon this really solid foundation, as I alluded to. I do think the extra attention to detail and the refinements, combined with that unbridled power of the core components tucked inside of the OnePlus 13, make no mistake, this is an absolute beast, which means a seamless and super fast experience. And when I switched over to this from the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, which I was using daily in late 2024, I was completely blown away at how fast it felt. App loading, swiping, scrolling, animations, the entire system feels dialed up to the maximum, and that's definitely something that strikes you when you get this out of the box for the first time. I'm genuinely not kidding, everything is practically instant on this phone. Things like editing a video and rendering out, it's done in seconds. Image processing is basically instant as well. What little gaming I've done, well, it's as you expect, it's flawless. It's rare to see a modern Android phone slow down within a few months, yes, I'll admit that, but the OnePlus 13 shows no signs of losing a step like some phones can do with updates and as they start to age and get put through their paces, but this is, to simply put, the fastest experience I've had on a mobile, period. And while I will say the performance is fast and I've not seen any slowdowns, I am no longer really a heavy phone abuser. Most of my time is spent using 4 or 5 applications like WhatsApp, Discord, Chrome, Instagram. There's the odd bit of Android also thrown in there, and it actually nets me multiple days of usage time with the OnePlus 13. And I'm not talking about a day and a bit, like 18 or so, 25 hours, that kind of thing. I mean 2 full days without worrying about where my charger is that damn good in my experience. There have been some extra improvements as well to improve the longevity, because actually it wasn't hitting these kinds of heights right after launch. I don't know if that was something to do with the software tuning for the brand new silicon carbon battery, but who would have thought it? Having a big 6,000 mAh battery means you're probably not going to have any problems with longevity. That seemed pretty obvious ahead of time, but now it's even better than it ever was before. And it isn't even just that I've fallen in love with the daily lifespan. SuperVOOC charging has become so much a part of that cycle that I actually get annoyed when coming back to other phones that charge in double or even triple the time. You do shift how you charge your phone this way because it is so fast. And while I will say I've never really been a huge fan of wireless charging, that new 50 watt wireless magnetic puck that needs a MagSafe case has merely been an ornament to me when it came with this device. I just tend to plug the phone in with a wire with that SuperVOOC charger and get a full battery in under 25 minutes and enjoy using the phone again for 2 more days. It is genuinely bliss, and it's something I'd love to see more phones take into account as we go forward. So I don't think it really needs to be said, but the best mobile camera systems are those that can produce high quality, consistent results time after time. And for years, I do think that was something that basically escaped every OnePlus phone. Yes, you might have one good lens, but it just wouldn't work in every situation all the time. And at least until recently, when I'd used the 12 series, I think that changed my perception of what OnePlus phones can do. That system had an edge over this one courtesy of a marginally better 3x telephoto at a higher 64 megapixel resolution. I think if only we had that lens on the OnePlus 13, I could probably confidently say that the newer phone was the outright best OnePlus phone to date. That said, with each update, the tuning has improved, and that Hasselblad bass out of the box tuning still really does wow me. I really love this. It's one of my favorite tuning options. The only thing that I find the OnePlus 13 sometimes struggles with is overexposure and with bright white subjects or bright white backgrounds. No phone is particularly excellent in this scenario, but it can be quite pronounced on the OnePlus 13 once images are processed, and things can look a little bit synthetic when they probably don't need to. When you use the viewfinder, photos can look pretty much solid right out of the gate, but open them up in the gallery and it's just a bit off from what you might have expected, although the Pixel does suffer from something similar as you can't see real-time processing from the viewfinder. I do think it's really annoying because the color profile and the tuning, at least to my eye, are the most visually pleasing of any mobile camera system when things are perfect. I do think videos are super solid, but they also still suffer from that processing hiccup in bright lighting scenarios. I do think Samsung still leads the pack for on-device processed video, but OnePlus is also closing fast in that area, and I want to see them continue to improve and enhance with software updates. After having used the OnePlus 13 on and off over the past 7 months, my overriding feeling is that just with a little more time and effort, and at least time in that tuning stage, we could have had an almost perfect OnePlus camera for the first time. But I will say, take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt though, the camera experience is great, the modes are plentiful. My advice though is just to hit the shutter button a few extra times to get options when you're taking photos, and you probably won't be as disappointed, as one of them will probably nail things as intended. So to sum all of this up, I have to say it's been a tussle at the top of the Android totem this year, with only one other device released in 2025 that I think can stake a claim to the title of the best phone of the year, at least at this stage. The OnePlus 13 and the Galaxy S25 Ultra definitely go toe-to-toe in ways that I actually can't say I really anticipated. While the Galaxy devices have gone for that refined, already winning formula or tweaking that, I think OnePlus has been diligently working on an unexpected hit from last year with the OnePlus 12. The biggest upgrades this time around are the battery and the software, but the most notable component is that price tag, as it remains lower than the competition without any real major or massive downgrades. I think when OnePlus launched, the playing field was definitely a lot smaller, a little less crowded, so I think trying to disrupt it was a sensible play. Now the market has really stabilized over the past decade or so, competition is a lot fiercer, but the fact remains that the best phones usually tend to be, or need to be, excellent in every single area to stake a claim for the best in the business. This is the second time in a row though that OnePlus has managed to do it, proving that it wasn't really a fluke with the OnePlus 12. And simply put, I think this is the best OnePlus phone to date, and arguably the best Android phone in the world right now, which is something I wouldn't have thought I'd been saying 2 or 3 years ago. Tell me what you think though of the OnePlus 13. I'm genuinely shocked at how far OnePlus has come, at least from their old roots now to producing devices that can compete with the best in the business. They usually would have areas where they stat padded and then would falter in areas which a lot of people definitely take for granted on those big flagship devices. Let me know what you think down in the comment sections below. For a $900 phone, I don't think there's many better. But with all of that said, cheers for watching, and I will speak to you later.